several areas in Pennsylvania, August 9, 2024. Debby's remnants triggered flash flooding in northern Pennsylvania and southern New York State that left dozens of people stranded in their homes Friday, authorities said. Residents said they couldn't believe how fast the water rose in Westfield, Pennsylvania, as the remnants of Hurricane Debby dumped rain on the area Friday.
Holy shit!
Several people were rescued by boats and helicopters across the region as Debby barreled through the area, dumping several inches of rain on land that had been soaked since earlier in the week. "We've had over 30 rescues so far and we're continuing to search house to house," said Bill Goltz, fire chief in Westfield, Pennsylvania, population 1,100. "We're evacuating the town. So far, no deaths or injuries. However, there are people missing in nearby towns." The National Weather Service issued a tornado warning for the area. Debby, which was downgraded from a tropical storm to a hurricane depression on Thursday, produced violent tornadoes earlier in the week and was expected to continue doing so before drifting out to sea Saturday afternoon. The governors of Pennsylvania and New York issued disaster and emergency declarations to free up resources to help northern Pennsylvania and southern New York, which were hit by flash flooding that left people stranded and in need of rescue. The NWS issued flood watches and tornado warnings for parts of an area stretching from coastal Georgia to Vermont, as the storm moved northeast at 35 miles per hour, 56 kilometers per hour, much faster than earlier in the week. Debby, a slow-moving storm for much of the week, has dumped as much as 25 inches, 63 centimeters, of rain on its way north and killed at least 8 people. Since making its first landfall as a Category 1 hurricane on Florida's Gulf Coast on Monday, Debby has swamped homes and roads, and forced evacuations and water rescues as it slowly crept up the eastern seaboard. Delaware, eastern Pennsylvania, and much of New Jersey were also under a tornado watch from Friday morning through the afternoon.
Look at this. Look at how here at the fish shack. Never.
"That's our biggest concern right now," Ray Martin, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Mount Holly, New Jersey, told WHYY News Friday morning.
Right, I'm going to live again up
Debby
in
moved slowly across Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas this week, causing at least 7 deaths and spawning tornadoes, widespread power outages, and major flooding. The storm is moving faster as it moves up the east coast, and its center is expected to move through central and western Pennsylvania by the afternoon. But the potential for wind and rain extends well beyond the storm's center. Forecasters said heavy rain throughout the day could lead to localized flooding in the Philadelphia area. A flood watch covers northern Delaware, central and eastern Pennsylvania, and western New Jersey through early Saturday morning. A weather watch, unlike a more serious warning or advisory, indicates that a dangerous weather event is possible. Areas along the Delaware River and Bay and parts of the Jersey Shore were under a coastal flood warning on Friday. Minor flooding is expected on Brandywine Creek near Chadds Ford from Friday morning through Saturday afternoon. Forecasters said that depending on the location and intensity of Friday's rain, major rivers like the Delaware and Schuylkill could overflow their banks over the weekend or early next week, even after the rain stops. Emergency management officials said it's important to take weather warnings seriously and follow the latest forecasts. In many places, residents can sign up for local emergency alerts. Avoid driving or walking through floodwaters. Just a foot of water can sweep away a vehicle, and 6 inches of water can sweep a person off their feet, according to the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The Cowanesque River in Westfield, Pennsylvania, surpassed its record of 11.1 feet in 1996 and is now at 13.5 feet, according to NOAA. Heavy rain continued to pound the north on Friday, after Debby dumped more than 20 inches of rain on Florida and 15 inches on North and South Carolina. More than 11 inches of rain were reported Friday afternoon near Love, Virginia, and Reisterstown, Maryland. On Wednesday afternoon, the Canoochee River near Claxton, Georgia, a town that received more than a foot of rain this week, broke its 100-year record of 17.80 feet. Emergency workers launched high water and helicopter rescues for people stranded in cars and homes in rural New York and Pennsylvania as heavy rains from the remnants of Hurricane Debby battered the Northeast with massive flooding. The worst flash flooding so far in New York was in villages and hamlets in the largely rural area south of the Finger Lakes, not far from the Pennsylvania border. In Steuben County, which borders Pennsylvania, officials ordered evacuations of the towns of Jasper, Woodhull, and parts of Addison, saying people were stranded because floodwaters had made many roads impassable. By midnight, some of those orders were lifted as the threat of severe flooding had passed. In the hamlet of Woodhull, a creek swelled from heavy rain, overflowing a bridge.
Never in the 13 years I've been
Resident
here have
Stephanie
we gone over
Waters
this
said part of a shed, tree branches, and fallen trees were among the debris that hit the bridge. Fire Chief Timothy Martin said everyone in the town is safe, but every business in Woodhull is damaged. John Anderson said he saw the floodwaters coming in fast, submerging some vehicles in Canisteo, in Steuben County, and nearby Andover, in Allegheny County. This is not a slow flood. It's a very powerful flood, said Anderson, who reported to the Wellsville Sun. He said he saw people's belongings being swept away by the rushing waters. In Canisteo, farm owners Cliff and Deb Moss suffered extensive damage to their dairy farm, which has been in business for more than 5 decades. A neighbor's double-wide trailer was swept across a field and into a river during the flood, said their daughter, Stacy Urban. Urban said the extent of the damage to the community is still evident and hard to comprehend.